Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming with more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. We're looking for a scenario called DENV-3, DENV-3. Okay, there it is, almost on the first page. That's so exciting. By germs, with 3 suns in front of it. Or are those supposed to be viruses? Huh, I never noticed. Those actually are almost interchangeable. DENV-3, which is actually harder to say than you might think, is an uncommon strain in the family of dengue viruses, which causes the deadly dengue hemorrhagic fever. For the past 30 years, DENV-3 have not been a dominant strain among the other dengue viruses. However, as recently as the 11th of February in 2020 in Singapore, there were reports of a surge in DENV-3 cases. There is currently no cure for the dengue virus. The dengue virus. The only treatment is for its symptoms. With the world currently focusing on the COVID-19 outbreak, which actually, now that I think about it, that is going to get me demonetized. Oh crap, I just said the disease that cannot be named. The DENV-3 go under the radar long enough to infect the world. Learn more about it on Wikipedia. So this is a realistic scenario, which I always do appreciate it. I like it when people try to bring some awareness to actual real-world diseases rather than always be fictitious and wacky in their scenario choices. Not that that's not a perfectly acceptable decision, but it's nice once in a while to come back to reality. And also, I should say, if there is actually another outbreak of an incurable disease in Singapore, well, good. One more thing to be scared of in this world right now. Because you're right, the world's a little preoccupied at the moment. Anyway, it's a virus type. We're going to go for the ATP boost Darwinist oxygen-methyle and symptostasis. Has anyone else noticed that virus types seem to be a little bit more popular right now? Just saying. DENV-3. On the rise. A surge in the number of cases in an uncommon dengue strain is raising concern in Singapore. However, it is completely overshadowed by the outbreak. Can you infect the world? Why they are looking the other way. It is spread by mosquitoes. You will do well in hot and humid environments, so use these traits to your advantage, but remember you will struggle in the cold countries. Oh good, always what I like to hear. It means I'm going to struggle a lot in Greenland. Something just popped up about China, but I don't get to see it because it disappeared too quickly. Okay, looks like we have a lot of customization here and some stuff that we start with, which is nice. So we start off with Aedes aegypti. The main spreaders of the new DENV-3 dengue virus to spread. That's okay, so this mosquito is good for the hot and humid climates. We already saw this in the description. Then we have blood. The organism ability to spread through blood-blood contact makes sense in conjunction with the mosquitoes. Then we have blood 2 for the poor regions, bodily fluids for the urban regions, hyperosmosis, which is basically just a fancy way of saying water transmission, increasing infectivity for the ships. Saline, good in salt water, okay, more ship transmission, and altitude. Virus adapts to survive in higher altitudes, increasing plane transmission and infectivity. All right, lots of good customization there. I like it. Symptoms, we start off with pyrexia, increasing the body temperature, also known as a fever. For the body to fight the virus, it is fatal in some cases, cannot devolve. Okay. That leads to dyspnea, inflammation of the body causing difficulty in breathing and shortness of breath due to narrowing of the trachea. Restlessness and irritability, slowing the cure. Fatigue, extremely tired, slowing the cure progress. The higher the infected percentage, the slower the cure progress. Well, that sounds really good. Hyperpyrexia? Okay, yeah, sorry. I thought for a second this was also pyrexia, and I was going to say these are out of order, but they're perfectly fine as they are. I am wrong. Very high fever of over 39 degrees Celsius, which means nothing to me because I'm American and we use Fahrenheit. But I am guessing that is over like 99 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is when you start getting into a low-grade fever, get up to like 103, and all of a sudden you're in a lot of trouble. Hence why it's pretty darn lethal. Don't want that yet. Diarrhea. Watery stools causing the body to lose a lot of water. Gastrointestinal bleeding. Bleeding occurs in the gastrointestinal tract as the blood becomes thinner and passes through the mucosa membrane. And melena. Black tarry stools due to bleeding in the stomach. Ugh. Caused by partial digestion of red blood cells. Feel like the author actually did a pretty good amount of research in this scenario. This is legit. I like it so far. Gingival bleeding. Decreased blood clotting factors causes the gum to bleed profusively. Gross. And a nosebleed. Blood seeps through the thinly layered membrane in the nasal cavity, causing bleeding from the nose, effective in the cold regions. That sounds like the sort of thing I will really need in the future. For our abilities, we start with 2 levels of heat resistance. Then we have the Aedes family. Dengue virus now spreads across the Aedes mosquito family, unlocking new hosts for transmission and increasing the mutation chance. Different types of mosquitoes, or are we going to get kind of a cross-species thing? I don't know yet. We also have 1 level of cold resistance, but not a lot. So this is going to be a problem for me, definitely. Pesticide resistance, which makes perfect sense, since it's not going to be just the virus. It's actually Keeping the mosquitoes alive, dang it. And a level of genetic hardening already? Genetic hardening of DENV-3 strain is less effective as it is similar to other dengue strains. Genome for dengue virus has already been sequenced in 2007. So, wait, why am I starting with genetic hardening? It sounds like it should be easier for them to cure me, not harder. I don't know, but okay. Do you want to go for more blood? I mean, we started off in Southeast Asia, which is considered to be poor. That, by the way, was another thing, another custom pop-up, and I just instinctively clicked OK and didn't think about it. Well, okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure, just based on the first two words that I saw, which cannot be named, I'm pretty sure that it's just talking about the existing pandemic right now and how the whole world is not paying attention as I continue to spread and ravage the world. More infected than COVID-19. You're not wrong. We've already infected 3 million people, which means, yes, indeed, it is more infective than COVID-19 already. Wow, okay, 154 million in, like, 2 weeks. The world shall fear me. Let's go for hyperosmosis level 1. Could go for saline and stuff as well. Let's go for some altitude, I think, and, let's go for the nosebleed. That leads to anemia, hypoxia in the organs, and hypermaturia. Decreased clotting, I think is what was meant there. Factors causes red blood cells in the nephron capillaries to cross into loop of Henle, distal and proximal tubules to be excreted in the urine. Okay. Yeah, sure. Oh, good. Yeah, everyone's worried about the thing that's spreading 200,000 cases. Meanwhile, we've already infected like 300 million people. Be afraid. Lethality is a little on the high side, but I cannot actually get rid of any of it. So we really need to go fast. We need to go really dang fast. Let's go for the pesticide resistance. I mean, Southeast Asia got hit real hard, real fast. Restlessness is fine, slowing down the cure progress. Okay. I'm a little concerned that we're going to be so lethal that we're going to get blocked off pretty quick if we're not careful. That's what has me mostly concerned. Lethargy. The infected is unable to work at all and spends most of the time laying in bed as they are way too weak, slowing the cure progress. Again, lethality that I definitely don't want. Let's go for hyperosmosis level 2. Trying to spread faster in anywhere they can get a boat, but we're definitely going to need that cold transmission. We have gotten into the UK. Let's go ahead and pick up that cold resistance now. Then we have larvae resilience level 1, effectiveness in urban and poor countries. That seems pretty good. And then more pesticide resistance. Yeah, let's pick this up. That's good in, like, most of the world. Most of Europe and most of the poor-ish countries, rural countries, etc. So that's pretty good. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Let's go with the bodily fluids level 2. Very good for the urban countries. Again, very good in places like Europe. Then we have extreme hematophagy. Pathogen breaks the cross-species barrier, which causes humans to spread the disease. Increases infectivity in poor and urban regions and increasing the mutation chance. For 30 DNA, that's a bit steep, but I'll go ahead and pick that one up. So we are getting into Iceland. Good. We are now in Russia. We got Dyspnea for free. Alrighty. I mean, we're getting a lot of DNA thanks to our huge amounts of severity at this stage of the game, but what I need is anything that will allow me to spread a heck of a lot faster in cold countries. Or rural countries. Either one is honestly okay. Urban and rich this time around. Okay. Don't think I need that right now. Also, slightly has been misspelled here. Let's go for the 80s family. Egg protection level 1. Eggs survive in slightly higher doses of toxins and chemicals such as pesticides and contaminated water, but increasing mutation chance. Okay, I'll pick that up. That leads to egg protection level 2. Allows eggs to survive in highly toxic pesticide water, increasing effectiveness in both poor and rich countries, but increased mutation due to unwanted toxin intake, and then viral instability. So lots of mutation chance to be had there. Okay. I don't know if I want anemia. I may want to get rid of this. I'm going to just reduce lethality a teensy-leensy little bit. We got dyspnea, coughing. Will this lead to pneumonia? No, hemoptysis. Immune suppression can be lethal. Leukopenia. Never heard that word before. For a second, my brain wanted to say leukemia, but no. Leukopenia, so it's a blood thing, right? White blood cell count is significantly decreased, preventing the body to fight the infection effectively. Very lethal. Makes sense. All right, so let's go with the gastrointestinal bleeding. That leads to a loss of appetite, increasing susceptibility to the disease. Let's go for that, I guess. That leads to anorexia, super thin and skinny. Hypotension. Excess bleeding and fluid loss due to increased cardiac workload can be fatal, and dehydration. These are all pretty lethal options, but nothing that really helps me a lot in cold countries. Hematochezia? I've never heard of that either. Blood is passed out together with the stools due to bleeding in the lower GI tract, causing them to be infectious, increasing effectiveness in the poor countries. Yeah, we're not getting a lot of help there. We did get some more options for our mosquitoes. So land and arid, okay, and then colder climates. Thank God, that's what I needed. All right, a special type of mosquito that is adapted to survive in colder and rural climates. That's exactly what you want to see in Russia. Then we have Aedes albopictus. Mosquitoes that thrive in urban environments and are more resistant to the cold. That sounds like the next thing that is on my list to get, because I want to spread in Russia. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Okay, looking pretty good there. All right. Now we should be cooking with a little bit more gas. Diarrhea. The only thing that could sink me right now is an excess in mutation chance. That could turn into a rather substantial issue. Let's go for some more altitude, and then I want to focus on probably some saline, anything that gets me water transmission, air transmission, kind of spread me around a little bit faster. We did get into the Caribbean out of the UK, which is unexpected. Russia shut down their port very early. That's an issue. Okay, we'll grab a couple levels of saline. Then we have viral symbiotic adaptation. Adapt together with the host mosquito wherever they fly. We may have a problem getting into Greenland all of a sudden. I don't have an absolute ton of land transmission, believe it or not. So getting shut down as quickly as we did in Russia is a rather huge problem. Sea transmission. Again, that would be useful if it weren't for the fact that Russia just kind of messed me up. We may be in trouble all of a sudden. It may not, and Norway just shut down their ports. I don't think it's possible to get into Greenland anymore. Gosh dang it! Alright, so the lethality early on is definitely going to hurt me. Getting too much mutation chance can become a problem. So all this mutation chance here may have worked against me. Hard to say for sure. Alright, we're going to have to restart because I'm pretty confident there is no way to get into Greenland unless there's a spore burst that I am not aware of, but I don't think that's the case, so let's try this one again. Oh my gosh, did you see that little boat go right in there? Because that was a literal last-second arrival. Holy crap, okay. Spreading in Russia has proven to be a little on the difficult side. For reasons I don't think I understand, and I have been actively devolving symptoms as they pop up, trying really hard to make sure that severity stays just slightly below the threshold to keep Greenland open as long as we can. But now the mutation chance is allowed to work for me. Okay, so we're in Greenland. That leaves no countries currently uninfected. That means now we need to worry about the cure while we just kind of let the mutation chance take me the rest of the way. Could go for the viral instability. We're going to go ahead and grab the egg protection instead. Just try to get some more mutation chance to speed things along for free. Seems like we are getting a pretty reasonable amount of mutations, so that's not the issue. May want to go for genetic hardening level 3. They're not super far along with the cure. Especially since we're getting things like lethargy and stuff for free, so the more I can slow it down, the better. Don't really necessarily need to go for the genetic reshuffle when we can just prevent it from building up in the first place. Especially while we kind of sit back and wait for places like Greenland to actually get enough infected that we don't have to worry about, you know, evolving too much lethality. That's actually my biggest concern now, is no longer the cure. It's that there's going to be so much mutation chance that all of a sudden we kill too fast in Greenland, but so far it appears to be going just fine. Let's make sure that that is in fact the case. Anything else we need over here? We do have hypotension, and there's the renal insufficiency, causing retention and many complications for the kidneys. Pretty darn lethal. We also have opportunistic infection. Other outside infections seizes this opportunity of low immunity to attack the body. So I will say I feel like the ports and such are kind of on a hair trigger in this scenario, and I think that's deliberate based on what I'm getting from the context here, that because of the effects of COVID-19 around the world here, the rest of the world is already watching for an infectious disease to determine whether they should shut down their country, and as a result, if you look a little bit too far out of line, then they are going to shut down, which is cool because it means thematically, not only am I worried about my own disease becoming too severe, too lethal, and kind of stopping myself from infecting the world, but also we're playing against COVID-19, which is an interesting idea from a gameplay perspective. I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and grab a couple more lethal options. We have acute renal failure. I'll do that. And then a quick level of genetic reshuffle. I'll just go ahead and buy myself a teensy-weensy bit of extra score. Joint pain, sure, doesn't matter too much. Now we just kind of sit back and wait for everyone to plop over dead. Perfect. Thank you. DENV-3 has eliminated all life on Earth. 407 days is a little on the slow side, but that's partly because we couldn't get a lot of infectivity in Russia, so we were a little slow getting into places like Greenland. 60% pure progress, 55,647 points, and 2 stars. All in all, it's a pretty darn good scenario, and I think in no small part because of the COVID-19 elements that are going around in the world, kind of making you race against 2 different diseases. You have a world that is already on the verge of panic, and that changes the way you play the game. That's creative, and I like it. Aside from that, there is a lot of really good customization, a lot of good scientific-sounding medical terms that I don't fully understand, but I'll assume they're correct because they seem fancy. That's always nice. I like when people do their research. Also, you know, real-world scenarios. You don't get a ton of those these days. They're always about something silly, but this was actually pretty darn good, well-balanced, very creative. I liked it a lot. Well done. Thank you for sending it my way. That is a pretty darn good scenario, and I'm glad I played it. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.